Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Apologies for not posting in time. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my story? Is anonymous. I am a South African woman and I am only aged 32 years old. Now I really do not need a husband and I am happy as I am just being single. There were times when I used to wonder, will I ever be able to live as a woman whom you can say is a single woman, even though I have countless men that I sleep with, but I am single because I do not have any men that I have in my heart as for now, because of so many heartbreaks as well as too many lies from you men. My ex, he taught me very well. I started dating my boyfriend, who is my baby daddy, when we were still in high school. He impregnated me. I was so foolish to believe that he was madly in love with me. My parents, they agreed when his parents suggested that I was supposed to move in with them in their family home. When I moved in, remember that we were still kids by then, but we had our own back room. One night, he then said that he did not enjoy it because his friends, they would laugh at him because I was pregnant by then and I would go to school with that pregnancy of mine. So it was like my friends, they're always laughing at me, saying that your wife, she's pregnant, yet she is coming to school. Baby, how about you stop going to school until you gave birth? And he continued with his education and he then went to college whilst I was just staying at home. The moment that he started working, that was when he started to show me flames. He showed me flames so much that he hurt me in so many ways I do not even know how to explain. I hate him for what he made me to become, because he totally dumped me. Not like he said, I do not love you anymore, but he just left me dry and I did not have anyone to help me with the bills, because by then we were staying somewhere else. All that he could do was to pay rent, maybe just to give me a little bit of money so that I can buy the groceries, and still he did not want me to look for a job. He was the one who taught me to sleep with Ethiopians, those that had spaza shops, so that I can be able to get food. That was all that I did. There was one Ethiopian man that I would go to. He would give me bread in the morning and he would give me something for lunch, and later on at least he would give me something so that I can cook some food so that me and my child, we can eat. And this man, he would sleep with me, and from there on I learned how to manipulate men, because this Ethiopian man, I was not pleased with him in bed because of the size of his manhood. So when I would sleep with him, I would hate myself because he will just be poking me without pleasing me at all. So I started to learn how to manipulate, because I realized that the moment that I showed him that I was not feeling him, what he will do is that he will get angry. He will spend days without giving me any food at all to eat. So I started manipulating him, telling him that you are the best and you have the best tasting manhood like I have ever tasted. So this guy, he went crazy. He thought that he was a porn star. He would even brag to his other friends that the way that he did me, sometimes I would even forget my name when he was on top of me, but it was all manipulation and lies. I ended up getting a lot of money from this Ethiopian guy, and then I started looking for a job and I started working. And to tell you the truth, when I started working, it was in December and I was supposed to work, I will say, at Mr. Price as a casual worker. It was a clothing store which I was working at. So being a casual worker, I knew that I was only going to work for the Christmas. Then after the Christmas holidays were over, then I was not going to get a job. So in order for me to get a permanent post at that place where I was working, I then decided to manipulate one of the guy who was like the regional manager. This guy, he then came to our shop one day I was busy unpacking some clothes, and he came into the office where I was busy unpacking the clothes. That was when I just got up and I went and I kissed him, and I said, "You are very handsome, dude." He was even shocked and he said, "I am a married man." And then I took his hand that had the ring and I said, "I really do not care. Your wife is such a very lucky woman. I wish I was him." From there, the manipulation started. By the time that the Christmas holidays were over, I was done with this guy. I had used him, and I now had a permanent position. Whenever he would try to sleep with me, I would give him so many excuses until I lied to him that I had slept with this other guy who had given me a terrible STI. The guy then stopped complaining about me no longer giving him my thing. So from there on, I started meeting some men that would come into the shop. I would always do something so as to show those men that I just wanted them, and that is how I started dating other men. And from there on, I would go clubbing until I met this other woman. The woman that I met at a club, this was after I had been beaten, because I went to this other club with no money. I had this other guy that I was with. I had recently met this guy. He was someone that loved to groove as well. Whilst we were at that club, the guy, I found out that he really did not have money, because the money that he had told me that we were going to spend and the money that he was going to give to me, I saw that he really did not have anything in his account. He only had 1k, and yet he had promised to give me 2k by the end of the night. And I said, "So this is the type that buys some booze for you and he takes you to his place, he sleeps with you, then the next morning he refused to give you any money, saying that we enjoyed both and you drank my alcohol, therefore I am not going to give you anything." So I started looking around, and then as fast as I was able to get another blesser. He was quite an old man, and then I started to drink with him at the table where he was seated with other girls. I really did not care. So when my blesser saw that I was no longer into him, he came and he started fighting with me, and he was like, "You have already eaten my money, we have to go now." And I said, "So you think that just buying me a six-pack I'm going to give you my body? Okay, let me try to find a man that can give you the money." And he was like, "I don't want money, I want you, because this is what you promised me." And we started fighting. He beat me up. Fortunate enough, the owner of the club came down and he kicked him out of his club. So then the woman who became my friend, she came to me because I was bleeding heavily, and she was like, "I'm already knocking off, how about I go with you to my place?" So we then went to her place. The next morning, that was when I discovered that her mom was a sangoma. I had slept at a sangoma's place. We then started to talk. So the mother then took me into her shrine, and she then said that she wanted to give me some herbs because I had a cut right on my chin where I had been hit by the guy, and it was very painful, and I did not want to go to the clinic to get this guy arrested because I was still depending on him, because he would give me some money so that I can buy some food for my upkeep. So I knew that if I go to the police station to report him, then it meant that he was going to get arrested. So this woman, as I was speaking with her, she then said, "Instead of you always meeting all of these men that will beat you up, I want you, my daughter, to meet men like men that my own daughter meet." And I started asking her what kind of men she wanted me to meet, and then she told me that people with money, married men that will be able to take care of me, and she was going to give me a charm. I said, "Okay, let's go ahead. What is it exactly that you want?" She then told me that on that very same day, she was unable to assist me completely because she wanted my period blood in order for him to create the charms. All that she told me was that for the man that had beaten me, when he was at my place, I was supposed to take his underwear, and after I would have taken his underwear, I was supposed to wear it on my head, and when I would be cooking the food that he was supposed to eat, I will be wearing the underwear in my head so that the man can be madly in love with me and I can control him. So I left that woman's place and I returned back to the location where I was staying. I then called the guy that had beat me up, and he said, I knew that you were going to call me. Why were you pretending that it was like you do not love me? And I apologize, as I had been told by that Sangoma that I was supposed to apologize. And I said, I miss you, can you come to my place? He then came to my place. So he wanted to return back to his wife, and that lady had told me what I was supposed to do. So then I took his underwear as well as his boxer short and I washed it. He was angry at me because he said, you knew that I have to return back to my wife, but this is what you have done. So he ended up returning back to his wife. He was just wearing a jean without an underwear or a boxer short because they were still too wet. This was what I wanted. When he returned back on that day, we then started drinking alcohol, but I pretended as if I was drinking with him. Then when he was all drunk, I then took the boxer short and the underwear because I wanted this medicine to work really fast, and I put it on top of my wig, and then I started cooking for him. After I had finished cooking for him pap and pilchards, I then gave him to eat, and he was like, this tastes so nice, as if it is food from a hotel. From that day onwards, I started doing things that I wanted with him. I would even sleep with other men in front of him. He would cry. The way that I would manipulate him, he even emptied his bank account one day after he had received his salary, simply because I just wanted him to give me money. He ended up selling his car for no reason at all. He lied to his wife that the car had a damage in the engine block and he wanted to sell the car whilst it was still moving. He then lied to his wife that since he had sold this car whilst he was in a rush, he could not get the amount that he wanted, and he cut that money and he gave it to me because I wanted to use that money. From there on, I then started to notice that I now had a little bit of luck. Whenever I wanted a man that had money, somehow a man would always come to me. It's either even on Facebook, a guy will just see my profile and will add a friend request, and I will accept, and then we'll start to talk, and I will realize that this guy, he has a lot of money. Back in those days when I did these rituals, you could not lock your profile so anyone could see your pictures. So before I'll start to talk with that man that would have sent a friend request, what I will do is that I will just make sure that I look at your photos to see if you are someone that has money, someone that I can trust, someone that can be able to take good care of me. So that is what I used to do. When it was time for me to be on my period, then I returned back to that Sangoma, and then she said that she wanted to bath me, and the way that she bathed me, she took a small plastic dish and she told me to kneel down, but making space for that plastic dish to be between my legs. By then I was not wearing anything, I was like totally naked. And then she came with some warm water and she started to wash my private parts. It was very weird for a woman to do something like that to me. When she was doing this, she was even putting some fingers inside me so that she can be able to collect as much blood as she could. And when she saw that she had collected a lot of blood and the little water that was inside the plastic dish, this water, it was red, it was tinted red, and then she took it and she poured it into an empty bottle of Coke, and she gave it to me, and she said, I want you to drink this until it is over. So I thought that she meant that I will drink it bit by bit, and she was like, I want you to drink all of it like now, so that the charms can start working before I bath you again. I don't know how many times I vomited. I was literally drinking my own period blood. The smell that was just coming out of that blood, it was something that was really gross. And she told me that if I keep on vomiting, then it meant that the charm was not going to be very powerful, and this charm, it was not going to work like the way that she wanted the charm to work. So I then pulled up my socks and I told myself that this had to be done. I had no other choice but to do this. And then I started to drink as much as I could. I drank a lot of my period blood. After I was done, that was when she said, let us do it again. And then by then she took a white cloth that she told me to wrap myself, and then she started bathing me again. And the water that was red, she then said, I want you to cook nice food for a man that you really love with all of your heart. This man, you are supposed to cook food for him using this water, and when you give him water to drink, I want you to pour just a little bit of the water and mix it with clean water. And mind you, you have to keep this water in the fridge. And I don't know why I have to keep it in the fridge, but she told me that I have to always keep it in the fridge. So what I do, Brother Nash, is that I see that men sometimes when they are at my place, they can put their alcohol in my fridge. So I buy beetroot. When I buy beetroot, I empty not all of the beetroot. Then I put the water that will be containing my period blood. Then I mix and I leave that jar inside there. And when I have a man that I want to cook for, sometimes I can even put beetroot with the food so that the man can just eat everything instead of drinking, because it might be a little bit tricky. But if the man is drunk, I can just pour that water with the blood for him so that he can drink. Most of the men, they won't even realize it when they are drunk. So when I left that Sangoma's house, I returned back home. There was this other guy. This guy was very old. What I did was very evil, but he loved things. This guy, I'll say that he had 3 houses in Soweto, and he survived. Him and his family, they survived from the rentals from those 3 houses that he owned, and he was staying at another house. He was someone that he had retired already. They were just managing life. Like, his last born was older than I was. I am very naughty now that I am thinking about it. So I met this man. There are those men, when you are walking, they will always look at your behind. And I was in Spa at that day. I still remember very well, because at the place where I was staying, in order for you to buy water, you had to go to Spa so that you can buy it. That was the only place where they were selling the water that we were using at that complex. So I went there. So at the place where you would buy the water, the till and everyone that will be buying will be behind you. So this man, when I was walking, I saw him looking at me until the time when I reached that little till where you would buy the water. He kept on looking at me, and by the time that I left Spa, he was already waiting for me, and he was like, you're very beautiful. And then as we were walking, I checked his car. I saw that he was driving a very beautiful car, and this was a latest model of the Navara. And I said, this guy, he has a lot of money. And then whilst I was waiting for my own Uber to come, he then said, no, let me take you to your place. I want to see where you are staying. So I ended up going with him to my place, and we ended up sleeping with each other. He told me about his hustle, and I said, okay, that is cool, but going to be able to take care of all of my needs, because where I am staying, the rent is very expensive. I do not want you to complain, because you are the one who have said that this is what you want. I am going to give it to you like your wife has never given it to you, but I want you to also help me with money whenever I want money. I hate a man that gives me excuses. And he was like, baby, do not even worry. You are mine and I am your man, and I'm going to give you the keys to my life. The very next day, he came back to my place, and I said, this one, I am going to use him until he has retired to the grave. So I cooked food for him, and I put that Piriod water in the water that I gave him to wash his hands, because this one, he is someone that goes to a certain church and they do not drink much alcohol. So it was very hard for me to trap him. So I put that water into a dish which I gave him to wash his hands, and then he started eating. From that day, he went crazy about me. He then said that, do you still remember that I told you that I wanted to give you the keys to my house? And I was like, yes. And he said, so this particular house, and we went to Soweto, and he even lied to his tenants that I was one of his sister's child who had since passed away, and from there on I was going to collect the money. Each and every month I would go and I would collect the monthly rentals. I really do not know what excuses he was giving to the wife, but he was the man that assisted me into buying my own very first vehicle. To this very day, this is what I am still doing, and I do this because as a side chick, you rely on the goodwill of the man that you'll be dating. Even if he refuses to give you money, what can you do? And if a man has already tasted you, it becomes difficult so for him to keep on giving you money. A man will always give you money the time when you are still trying to try each other out, so he wants to impress you so that you can sleep with him. But once the deed is done, it becomes very difficult. As a side chick, I use period blood that I cook mainly for married men, so that at least they can take care of me. That guy, the older guy, I told him that, you know, I can give you a knockout. You already have diabetes and you have blood pressure, but you are always on my case. This guy, he did not want me to go out to groove. He would complain, and whenever he would complain, he would be like, now I am sick and my body is not okay. I am feeling so hot. My blood pressure has gone up. And I was like, that is what happens, Ndate, when you date younger girls. Just let it go. I am no longer into you. By then, I had found another guy that was my own age, a guy that was married, a church guy that was giving me money. This is my own secret. To those that want to be judgmental, my baby daddy is the one that you are supposed to blame, because he was the one that made me to be who I am right now. And I tell you this, to most women, those that are side chicks, and you know that your boyfriend has a wife, you know how hard it is to want someone and you won't be able to be with the man that you love at the time that you want. And most of these married women, they do not want to share their husbands anyway. So you have to do things that you have to do in order for you to be happy. If you are a side chick and you do not use muti, hey, I am laughing at you right now. These men, they are going to use you and they are going to leave you with nothing. Each and every man that I date, I keep a small diary. When I start to date a man, I write the things that I want that man to do for me. So each and every time when he has done something for me, I tick, I make a tick. And even when we break up, I return back and I see if I have been able to achieve what I wanted to get out of that relationship. If not, I return back to him and use more charms on him. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Can you just imagine? But she is saying that living your life as a side chick, it is not easy. Are you a side chick? If so, you can hit me on my Facebook and then you can tell me your own side of the story so that we can be able to share your confession. We will listen and we won't judge you. Even if you are someone that joined Satanism, please do come so that we can hear your own side of the story. Then there is another message that I received, and that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my story as anonymous? I am a South African woman, but I am married to a man that comes from DRC. Me and my husband, we have 3 kids. We do keep snake. We have a snake that we keep as a pet, and this snake, it is a real snake, but it has the spirit of my husband's father. So he had this done so as to protect our business. My husband, when he came to South Africa, he was already practicing as a doctor. When he came, he then started working at a name hidden hospital, and after that, that was when he started a business. So the problem that he did was that he got in a very wrong business in our country where there is a lot of mafias, if you know the coal mafia. So he got involved in that business. He then bought a truck. So this truck, he had bought it through the bank on credit. It was the one that financed that truck. So my husband, he started pushing and pushing. I even warned him and I said, I don't enjoy this thing that you are doing. One day you're going to get yourself killed, because I had witnessed a man in the area where we grew up. He was shot dead. He used to own a lot of trucks, and these trucks, he had so many contracts with Transnet, so they shot him because of that contract. So I was scared. So later on, my husband, he came to me and he started crying. He then told me that he had borrowed money, and I asked him how much he had borrowed. He told me that he had borrowed 800,000 rands, and I said, what? Why did you borrow so much money? He then told me that he had borrowed this money because he had high hopes that at this other mine, they were going to give him a contract. So there were people from the inside that he was supposed to pay. There were 4 people. There were 3 blacks and there was 1 white woman who was the accounting officer. So she was the one that would help those that wanted to get contracts at that mine with the documentation and everything, because that mine, it was paying truckers a lot of money. So my husband, he took out that money and he gave the money to those people without telling me. I then asked him, where did you get so much money? From the bank, because if it is the bank, we can speak with them and we can be able to make a payment arrangement. He then said, no, I did not get this money from the bank. I got it from this other guy. So this name hidden, he was a Congolese man. He has a lot of money and he deals in diamonds and other illegal stuff. So what he will do is that to other big businessmen, if you want money immediately and you can't get that money from the bank, that Congolese guy, he will borrow you money even up to 10 mil, depending with the business that you have and the properties that you own. So he went and he collected the 800k. The problem is that this 800k, when I calculated the interest, we were going to pay about 2.1 mil in the interest. And I said, no, we have to find the money so that we can return this money, otherwise it is going to kill us off. And they said, no, we can't get that money right now because I was unable to get this contract. You know, I collapsed when I started thinking about this. Then they took my husband and they started threatening him, because when they want their money, they want their money, and they were even threatening to kill our children. My husband then said that he was going to do a risky move and he wanted to return back to DRC so that he can be assisted by one of his uncle. There was this other uncle of his whom he used to speak with. He was a man that had survived the brutal war that had happened in their village. So he went there. He wanted to go with me. When he came back, That was when he said that we were supposed to go to a pet shop. We went to a pet shop and we bought a snake. By then, he had already told me the things that he had done. When my husband was out of the country, those people, they even threatened to rape me, saying that if my husband was not going to return back to South Africa in time, they would come in the middle of the night. They will start with me, the mother, and then they will do everything that was so terrible to my daughters, and after that they will burn us. They were going to tie us even to the bed, and then they will set the house on fire, because they honestly thought that maybe my husband, he had ran away to DRC. So when he came back, I was so much traumatized that when he told me that we were going to use the spirit of his father to start making money, I did not even want to know how this was going to happen. How was it even possible that one can use the spirit of their own parents so as to make money? All that I was asking was, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? That was all that I was asking my husband. And within 3 weeks, we were able to raise 1 mil that we gave to that Congolese guy. There on, me and my husband, we then started to work together. Even when my husband is not around, he will just give me instructions as to what am I supposed to do. The way that we feed this snake is we can just get someone. Usually we do this over the weekend. I can just drive in town and I can go and I fetch those women, those that stand by the robot looking for some piece jobs, and then these women, they are the ones that we use when she is in my house doing her job that she'll be doing the laundry, cleaning. This snake will be behind her, sleeping with her. She can feel something, but she won't understand what will be happening to her. That is what we do. This is my confession. We had to do this because we had no choice at all. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. You just imagine all the women that they go and collect at the robots, and then they pretend as if they just want to give them a piece job, yet they know that they want to use those women for rituals. Then there is another message that I received. The message, it reads like this: hello, how are you? Can you please post my story as anonymous? Lol, I used to date this other guy. He is a very big pastor. I'm scared of name dropping right here. So this pastor, I'll give you a clue. Like this guy, they were even looking for him. Let me not say a lot of stuff, but this guy is not South African. I hope that some of you are going to guess the name of this guy. So I dated this guy to such an extent that even the wife, she knew about our relationship. I went to the church because I was having problems with my stomach. There was something that was wrong. There was something that was very hard around my stomach that I could not understand. And when I went to the doctor, they had said that an operation was supposed to be done. So I have one of my auntie in Eastern Cape. She has the ancestors. So she said that she had a dream. I was lying on top of the table and I was being operated on. So she was afraid that if the operation was going to take place, then I was going to die during the operation. So my auntie, when she told me that this was what was going to happen to me, you do not even know how scared I got. It was really scary for me to even think about that. So my auntie, I then told her that I did not know what to do. Even if she tried, maybe I was going to die, to use some African herbs on me so that this thing that was inside of my stomach that was causing so much pain will go away. I then went to the church. This was after one of my friends told me that she went to this other church, but the owner of that church was not South African. So I went there. To my surprise, like the energy that they gave me, it was wonderful. So since they knew that I had a problem, because you write something down on a piece of paper and then they use it to pretend as if the prophet can see, they told me that on that day they did not want me to come to the front so that the prophet can pray for me. I was supposed to go for spiritual training. They train you how to receive your miracle. I was like, so now Christianity is like this. You go for a training so that you can be able to get a healing from God. This is something new. Since I was not someone that goes to church, I said maybe it is I that do not understand a lot of things. I then, Brother Nashim, started going to the church, and they would train me on what I was supposed to say, on what I was supposed to do even. And finally, when I was told that now I was going to be able to receive my prophecy from the prophet, I was then told that I was supposed to have a meeting with the prophet. Already the prophet, he had seen me through the CCTV camera, and he was impressed by my body shape. He wanted me. That very same day, we ended up going to a hotel. He slept with me, that guy, even though I was in pain. Like, I would feel so much pain in my stomach, especially if a guy would try to penetrate me. But he said, you are so wonderful and I want to be with you. But this guy, he practiced witchcraft because he really cured me, but it took a very long time. We had to go to, let me not mention the name of his country, lol. Okay, we went to his country, and when we went there, he took me to a powerful sangoma. That is the sangoma that assisted me. But in church, when I was brought before the prophet, I was even unable to look at him directly in the eyes. You know, when you have slept with a man the previous day, it is very difficult for you to look at that man directly in his eyes in front of people, because we had just started dating. So I was still shy because of him. I was brought before him. Even the video, when I saw it, I was really embarrassed because I was so shy. I was unable to communicate with him because I was thinking about the things that we had done the previous night. He then started prophesying, and I was like, yo, this guy can lie. This one, he can even win the award to just lie at people, because he started telling people that he did not even know me. He gave a false prophecy about the way that I grew up, and even my mother being the witch that was the source of my problems. And I was like, okay, now it is my mom who is a witch. Anyway, since you have promised me that you're going to give me money, I'm not going to expose you. He prayed for me. Then I started rolling on the floor, pretending as if I was someone that was possessed. There was a time that I even covered my head with my braids because I was about to laugh. So I pretended as if the demon wanted to pull my braids out, but I was literally covering my face so that people won't see the reaction, because this was so weird, rolling down in front of people, pretending as if you were under the possession of a terrible demon. Later on, I was then given the money. He said that he did not want me to stay in the townships anymore. He wanted me to stay somewhere that was very nice. I then started staying at a guest house. All the time that this man was in South Africa, he was paying a guest house on a monthly basis, staying at that Airbnb, not even cooking. He will just buy me, maybe order something online, and the food would be delivered to me, breakfast in bed and everything. It was wonderful. I really do not know what else to say. So I kept on getting sick. Remember that I was not okay, even though we had pretended in church that I was healed. We then went to this other country, which I do not want to tell you, because immediately you will know that, oh, it's that prophet. We went to his country. When we went to the country, we went to this other village, and then he spoke with the Sangoma about the condition that I was facing. And then the Sangoma assisted me, and that was when I realized that, oh, so this guy, whenever there is a scandal, let's say there was a scandal that has been on the newspapers about this guy, he flies back to his country, and this Sangoma, what they will do is that they go to another village very far, and they look for a house where the people are no longer staying at that house, and in the country they bury their people close to their houses, close to the fields, and then they would dig up a grave, and this man, he would be made to sleep on top of the bones of that person that would have been buried in that grave. And some of these graves, they were very old graves. I went with this guy, do you know how many times, to his name hidden country? I went with him 4 times. When there was a first scandal, we went there, and we went to this other place where there was a grave that was already dug, and it was the first time to see human remains. He was made to sleep for about a minute on top of that grave. We even flew using a private jet, the first time that I was ever on a private jet. And we arrived in the country, and we returned back to South Africa that very same day. You won't even imagine the things that people that have money will do. The journalist that was covering that story, the curses that she started to face in her life, she even came to him, and she did this in secret, and she apologized, and she was prayed for. But what she did not know was that there were no prayers that worked. The guy returned back to his country and asked the Sangoma to release that curse. That woman, I don't know, I think she eventually lost her mind or something, because she had covered that story, and it happened again and again. When he would hold these big crusades, he would first go to his country. He can even go in the morning, and maybe around 7 he is back in South Africa getting ready to go to the crusade, and this will be after you would have slept inside a grave. I enjoyed shame until the guy ran away from South Africa. I was staying at a guest house. I was living as if I was a princess. I would not even make my own bed. Even the time when this guy ran away from South Africa, it was very difficult for me, because I did not know how to do dishes anymore. All that I would have will be these long nails, looking pretty. That is all that he wanted me to do, making sure that I looked pretty for him. I even stopped going to that church, and it was because of other reasons. You know, as women, we start to get jealousy. I was jealous because of the wife, since he was not with me at all the times. By the time that I returned back home, it was difficult. I do not want to lie to you, doing some house chores, yet I was used to having all of these people, like those that were working for me, since I was already staying at that Airbnb. When it was time for them to do the room, they would just tell me that I have to move to another room, and when I get there, my things are already sorted out. I just go there, go and just relax in the tub, just enjoying, waiting for my man to come and enjoy his life, and to enjoy his life with me. But the guy, he created so much drama, and he ran away from South Africa, leaving me stranded. You know what I had to do? I had to pick up some other rich guys from the church. Those are the ones that assist me, and most of these guys, I cannot have one guy because they do not take care of me as much as I want to. So all that I do is to date a lot of men, and the majority of these men that I date, they are Christians. They pretend to be close to God, but they have some dark fantasies. If I tell you some of these fantasies, some of you will be shocked here about what your husbands do to women like us. Your dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Can you guess this prophet? Which prophet might be this? Your people, they are enjoying life. She's saying that for many years she stayed in a guest house, a very expensive one, and she even forgot how to cook, how to do dishes, even to make her bed. She even forgot that until the guy ran away and went to his country. And she was saying that there were times when they would fly to a particular country using a private jet. In a matter of hours, you would go to that country and return back to South Africa as if you never left the borders of South Africa. People have money out there. Then there is another message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. The message reads like this: hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a woman that is based here in Zim. I now fancy myself as a sangoma, but in all honesty, I joined a satanic cult. So this cult of ours that I joined this when I was still in teachers college. I went to teachers college really late, when I was age 24. That was when my father said, my daughter, you have suffered so much, because my husband used to be so abusive. He used to beat me up. My husband, he was in the army, so whenever you would return back from the barracks, he would beat me as if I was a little child. My father, when he learned that this was what was happening to me, my dad then said, okay, it's fine, my daughter, it is not your problem. This is what this man wants, and I do not want you to stay with him anymore. I just want you back home. I then returned back home. My dad then told me that my relatives, they had sat down and they had discussed about the issues that I was facing in my marriage, and they did not want me to return back to my husband. They wanted me to go back to school because I used to be so intelligent in school. So then I applied at a teacher's college. Then I went to that college, but since my relatives, each and every month, they would raise the money in order for me to buy food, it was difficult, and I was an adult already and I had kids, so it was a little bit difficult. My kids by then were staying with my parents, so I never had any money. One day, I was really lost. I did not know what else to do. I got up. I just left my roommate without even telling him, because I knew that if I tell her that this was what I had on my mind, she was going to discourage me, because she was a hardened Christian. Anything that you will tell her, she will tell you that God will respond in his time, when the time is right. So then I wanted to go and just find a man that was going to sleep with me so that he can give me money, and I wanted to go to this other beer hall that was close to the place where we were renting. When I got out, when I was walking, that was when this other man that was driving a Mercedes-Benz, and it was black in color, it was him with another woman whom I thought at that time was his wife. So they had a mission. They were looking for the house of this other pastor. I later assisted them, but they were unable to locate that house because there was a big wall that was blocking them. So they had been driving around the location for nearly 30 minutes, unable to locate that pastor's house, because they had a mission and they wanted to steal his glory, because he was causing confusion in the spiritual realm. So when they started to ask me if I knew about this other pastor, I then told him that I knew where this pastor was staying. They looked at me and they said, "Young girl, you are very desperate. What is going on with you?" And I started crying, because they read everything that was going on in my mind. Because as I was looking at the man that was sitting behind the wheel, and as I was looking at the woman, and I said, this woman, she is very lucky. I wish that God had provided a man like this in my life, that owns a beautiful car. Look at the way that he is dressed, the way that he is smelling. Even the woman, she seems as if she is being taken good care of. Oh, how I wish I had such a man in my life. So when this was happening, Brother Nashi, these people, they were able to read my mind, and then they told me that they wanted to assist me, and they were like, "Young woman, we want to assist you, get in the vehicle." I got into the vehicle, and then they went with me to the shops, and we bought some groceries, and they dropped me off, and they said that we were supposed to meet in the evening at the same spot where they had picked me up. They said that they were going to wake me up, and when it was 9 p.m, to my surprise, I had a voice that was calling me like, "Samantha, Samantha, we are waiting for you." I then walked to that place where I had met them in the afternoon, and I saw them. They were waiting for me, and they told me that they wanted me to go with them to this other place. We ended up going to this other house. How we got there, I really do not know. It was like we flew from the place where we were, and we flew to that house, and I saw that there were a lot of people that were waiting for us. These people that were waiting for us, they were all wearing black, and I was the only one that was wearing a white dress. And I was told that the white dress that I was wearing, it represented the purity of my soul, because I was still very pure. I had not done anything that can taint or blacken your soul. There are types of sins, if you commit them, then your soul will forever be blackened. That is why you see women, those that are involved even in music, their first music, they always wear white. As time goes on, they wear black. This is to show that they have done something in the background that have blackened their soul. From there on, I joined Satanism, and I was told that the cult that I had joined, it was a cult that causes massive accidents on the road. And each and every time when there is an accident that has happened, we go to that place holding human skulls. And when we are holding these human skulls, we then start to collect the blood, putting them into clay pots. And these clay pots, we leave them there. There are other groups of other satanic people that do come so that they can collect those people that would have died and their blood that would have been spilled on the road. That is how it is collected. From there on, when I joined Satanism, my life started to move in a very easy way. Like, I started to get connections. Even the time when I got married to a man whose family is also deeply involved in Satanism. So this is how I was able to come out of poverty. Even when I started teaching, it was just a matter of me just looking for young women that I can use and initiate into Satanism. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. She joined Satanism, and she is saying that it is very difficult for me to get out of this, even though I do not want, because she is saying that I know where my soul is headed to. If it happens that I die, and I'm scared where I am going to, it is going to be a lot of torment for all eternity. But just to think about giving my life to Christ because of the things that I did, I don't think that God will be able to forgive me. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section. Then there is another message that was sent to me. The message reads like this: "It might sound funny, my brother, do not laugh at me, but I am finished. I am a 40-year-old man, and I am South African by birth, but my mom, she came from Bl00d. She has since passed away. I did money rituals because I saw that I am not going anywhere with my life. Like, there are things that happen. Sometimes you just get stuck. You do not know what to do, and you don't have any energy to keep on doing what you have been doing. That is the situation that I found myself in. It was in the year 2015. So I said, let me try to look for someone that can provide better help for me, because I had tried everything. I had tried to pray. I had gone to different churches. At that time, the church which I was going to, it was a ZCC church. I thought that there all of my problems will go away, but things were so difficult, from working in the government to selling mere archer in town, and it was hard. Sometimes you would go for days without being able to make any meaningful sales, and my marriage had broken down. My wife, she just dumped me, and I did not know what else to do. So then that was when I was approached by this other man. This man, he used to work close to the place where I was selling the archer, and when he approached me, he said that he saw that my business was struggling and he wanted to assist me, and he assisted me. But I am finished, because the rituals that I did was that I am not supposed to eat food that has been cooked by a woman that is on her periods. I was told not to eat fish in my entire life. And if I wanted to maintain my wealth, I was supposed to look for only one mad woman that I had to sleep with, to make love to. Whenever I wanted her, I will call her to my house. In her madness, she will wander around until she would have located my house, and then I open up the gate for her and I kiss her, hold her, tell her that she is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Before you have made money, you can think that this is easy, it can be done. But once you start to make money, when I started making this magic money, I was okay because I had one mad woman that I had chosen, because this is the way that I chose this woman. I walked in town until I found one mad woman. She was not really mad. She was kind of like a drug addict, but she was running mad. And I pointed at him using a walking stick that was given to me by that traditional healer from Malawi. So he had said, you point at the woman that you want to sleep with, but it has to be a mad woman, and she will be able to come to your place. She will know where your house is. So I walked in town until I found one, and I saw that she was a little bit more smarter than other mad women that I had seen. I did not want someone that was really smelly and dirty. I pointed at him, she looked at me and she smiled, and I kept on walking so that people won't see that this was what I was all about. And then this mad woman, she came to my house. About 3 hours later, I opened the gate. I slept with her. So when I sleep with these women, I am not supposed to wash them, to look at them as if they are disgusting. And I enjoyed it at that time because I thought that this was something that I was going to enjoy for the rest of my life. I said, what matters is money. A dirty cuckoo does not even matter as long as it gives you money. That is what I was thinking about when I was on top of him. As time went on, I started to upgrade myself. Women that were beautiful started to force themselves into my life. This is what women do. They will always force themselves into the life of a man that has money. So then, Brother Nashi, I then started to lust after women, those that I really wanted, some beautiful women that I had in my life. So what I will do is that I will date a woman, then we will have oral sex without sleeping with each other. And this was enough for me until I started to date this other woman. This woman, I lusted after him after she had passed the place where I sell my archer, because I have to keep on doing this business. I don't have to stop doing it, because this is the only way that the magic money can appear in my house. Even if I do not sell the archer for days, I can even end up throwing it, but I have to pretend as if I am doing something, I am selling something, in order for the money to keep coming to me. So this woman, she walked past and she was so wonderful and amazing. I then collected that walking stick and I followed him as she went to the taxi rank, and I pointed the walking stick at him. She looked back because she felt something. She looked at me and she smiled. I walked past her, pretending as if I did not even know her, like I did not even lust after her. Later on, she then came to my house and she was wandering around, and I said, "Oh, it's you. Hi, how are you? Please come in." She then told me that she had seen me in town and she had been thinking about me. She had even ran away from her husband. This woman, I thought that I was going to satisfy myself with oral sex, just playing with my thing, BJ, and then it is done. But this woman, she was too much fire for me. Before I even realized it, I was inside of her, and she had the most amazing tasting thing like I had ever tasted in my entire life. After I had finished, that was when I had a loud bell that rang in the ceiling, and I knew that I was done. And when this happened, Brother Nashim, that very same Sangoma, I heard his voice in my head, and he said that, "You see what you have done, you have messed up your rituals." So this is what I have to do each and every day. I go and I just park my car somewhere by the side of the N1. This I do at night, and I take out a plate. I take out a plate that will be having pap that I would have cooked. I put this pap in the road, then I start to eat this pap as if I am eating pap with beef. It is very hard for someone to understand, but this is the punishment that I am facing. And when there is a car that is coming, I lift that pap and I wait for that car to pass me, and then I return back to what I do, and I have to continue sleeping with mad women. I am finished because of what that woman did to me. I lusted after her, yet I knew that I was not supposed to sleep with other women other than women that I would have pointed at, only those that were mad. I was told that my years that I was supposed to live enjoying this money, they have been cut, and I do not know how long I was supposed to live enjoying this money. I was told that you are not even supposed to go to another sangoma, because once you do that, you will start to run mad immediately the moment that you go and consult with another traditional healer. So this is the punishment that has been given to me. For how long this punishment is going to last, I really do not have any idea. You do not know the pain of you having so much money that you can sleep with any woman of your dream, but you are unable to be with the women that you want simply because you did these money-making rituals. I even asked that sangoma, so what was the purpose? What was the use of me doing rituals, yet I can't enjoy life? How can I enjoy life when I constantly have to sleep with mad women? When you post my story, please tell me. I will follow in the comment section. I really do not know what I want in life. I want to be assisted, but I'm scared that once I get assisted, once I get any help, then I'll start to run mad. I just want to give a warning to my other brothers. Even if life becomes difficult, it is not up to you to force the hand of God so that your fortunes can change. The devil will never give you anything for free. This I have learned. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. I'll be back with another episode. If you have not yet started following our Facebook page, please follow our page. There I post other confessions, as well as receiving confessions from other people as well. So if we have a lot of followers, then it means that we are going to have a lot of people that will be sending their confessions to us. Let us meet again in another episode.